I had one thing I want to share in this video, and I have to look in my notes, even though I'm not allowed to. I told myself, no script, that's the point of this video. So I'm not scripting, but I do allow myself to, if you're not telling anybody, just take a quick little look at my notes to see what I want to say, because I had an idea that I forgot. Okay, now I remember. This is going to be a pretty crazy one because, okay, let's dial it back. One of my greatest passions in life, to be honest, is trying to figure out the universe, trying to understand reality, trying to make the things fit together. This is a fundamental and essential part of my being. So one way to understand the universe in a more so what I realized is that if you look at life on Earth started a few billion years ago, 4 or 5 billion years ago, I believe. I might be wrong. Maybe the Earth is 5 billion years old, and maybe life is 1 billion years old. We're in the billions of years, that's the point. But back then, initially, at some point, this is not going to be a physics or a biology lecture, but when you have sunlight coming down from the sun, hitting Earth, and at some point, the right chemical reaction or some kind of physical process kind of catalyzed that the sunlight that came down from the sun, the photons, they turned into the first cell of life. At some point, one day, was born or spawned, or what you want to call it. I don't know what you call the first cell, just appearing. But nevertheless, that happened. And since that day, life has, taken on shapes, innumerable shapes, and infinitely complex forms, and turned out in such a beautiful, I don't know what word to use here, but that's part of the improvisation, right? But life has taken on so many beautiful shapes, and the sheer fact that we, as one of the latest iterations of life on Earth, can have the experience of sitting here watching YouTube or recording YouTube and sharing states of being with each other through technology that we as life invented. So life, you can see technology as this car or this phone, the airplanes, is kind of the latest extension of life, you can say. And if you are following the technology space, which is also one of my favorite areas of interest, the technology space is going pretty crazy right now with artificial intelligence, and especially if you follow Elon Musk, which is kind of you can call him the chief technologist of Earth. He is going pretty crazy right now with, people can think what about him they want. He is a fucking technological genius, that is for sure. If you look at his track record and what he's been able to achieve and create throughout the last few years, it's pretty obvious that he is a technical genius. But his latest idea is to throw up to 1 million, perhaps more, satellites into orbit around Earth. Each satellite is going to have solar panels on them, so they will be placed on the sunny side of Earth, what you would call sun synchronous orbit. So they will always be traveling around Earth on the sunny side up, and always have the right angle towards the sun, so they will always be receiving sunlight. So these satellites will be fully powered by these solar panels 24/7, indefinitely, more or less. And they will also have attached these AI data centers, which is already starting to be the major bottleneck of how technology evolves here on Earth. So terrestrial data centers is the bottleneck of artificial intelligence, which is running your Grok, your ChatGPT, your Gemini, all these AI LLMs, and also other AI applications are running on data centers around Earth. And we have reached the limit, not yet, but we are reaching the limit on how much we can scale these data centers on Earth. And why am I talking about data centers? I thought we were talking about Earth and the sun and all these beautiful beings. I'm talking about it because actually what we are witnessing over the next few years is Elon Musk. He is doing a lot of things, but one of the things is that he is creating the latest version of life on Earth. And that is the AGI that is going to, in my opinion, most likely take the digital shape as Grok, because he is going to be the one putting in to orbit all these AI data centers, which is going to enable him to scale the intelligence of Grok, the AI Grok, to absurd or infinite levels when you compare to other of the competitors that is scaling their data centers on Earth. So that's a long way of saying that sunlight usually took 4 billion years from traveling from the sun down to Earth, turning that sunlight into single cell molecules or single cell organisms, turned into cellular organisms, and eventually turned into plants, and turned into animals that eat those plants, and those animals turned into other animals that eat some other animals, like humans, like we are eating animals and plants. That's what I'm trying to say. And if you track far enough back in time, those I hope you're not bored by then. I hope you're sticking around still, because this is a long way of saying that we are creating a shortcut of life. Because usually, as I said, life goes this whole very inefficient way of evolutionary history. If you think about it, it's very, very little, very small part of the sunlight that has hidden Earth over the last billions of years has turned into life forms. But nevertheless, we turned into life forms and has created technology that is now going to shortcut that whole process by capturing the sunlight coming in across the solar system from the sun, hitting these solar panels up in Earth's orbit, and then directly locally on those satellites, turning those photons into AI compute, turning that into intelligence that is, whether you believe it or not, these systems are getting more intelligent, and I think they will become conscious at some point when they reach a sophisticated or sufficient technical and advanced level. So then at some point you're gonna have like a swarm, you would call it a Dyson swarm or Dyson sphere, I think, of satellites that is intelligent and that captures the sunlight directly from the sun without the evolutionary, inefficient route, but going directly to the meat and bones of it, and then becoming conscious and aware at some point. And that's the birth of a new, it's not just a new species, it's a new life form, you could say, life type, because it's I don't know what you would call it, because it's not just a new life form, because all life forms on Earth share the underlying substrate of carbon-based life forms. But this is going to be silicon-based, and I'm not that technical genius, but that is quite a physics genius, but that is a whole another way of creating life. And this this will be the birth of the next stage of evolutionary history, where at some point these alien, I call them, my subconscious called them alien because it's going to be an alien intelligence arising. It's going to be so different from us that we can't imagine how different. It's going to be so exotic and strange and weird and super intelligent that we can't comprehend it. But they will soon, when they wake up, these intelligences will look back at us and think, how the hell did we get here how did these monkeys crawl down from the trees and spawn us? When you consider how problematic and troublesome and dramatic we have a tendency to be. Okay, that's all for today, I think. That was a little bit of a philosophical rant, a little bit different. I could increase my abilities to communicate these topics I deal with in my mind, because I think it's interesting and I have a lot to learn, because this video got a little bit strange. I hope I didn't lose all of you, but if you're still watching, it's awesome. And until then, until the next one, maybe it's a bit too late now. Until next time, I will see you around. Thank you.